Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It has been way too long since we made a video on this channel. I do apologize about that. I've been really busy, got my other channel going well. I'll leave it linked up top here and down in the description, but let's get right to the chase. Today we are comparing the uncomparable, right? 300 Win Mag 6.5 Creedmoor. What in the world are we comparing these for? You'll see. So, as you guys can imagine, I drew a deer tag. I really didn't think I was going to this year, but I did. We drew it in a pretty good unit, not great, not bad, just an okay unit. I'm gonna break down the unit for you. I'm gonna break down the two rifles, the two cartridges, and I want your guys' advice down below on which one you would pick. Obviously, I only have the one rifle in front of me today. Part of that's because there's not a lot of room on the table, and the other part is I was too lazy to get the other one out of the case. So, right here we have the Tikka T3X Superlight, and as much as this is going to be a cartridge discussion, it will also be a rifle discussion, which I think is far underrated when it comes to talks like this. But without further ado, 6.5 Creedmoor, 300 Win Mag. I know, this isn't necessarily the load I would hunt with, okay? This is just a box I had. This is the actual load I would hunt with. If you guys haven't seen the video of me breaking down my experience with the 165CX, be sure to check it out on the channel. I will also leave that linked here. However, to be honest, that load is really the only reason that I am even considering the 300 Win Mag, because everything else leads to 6.5 Creedmoor. I know we've all thought this at some point. Before you call me a Hornady shill, I'm not sponsored by anybody. This channel isn't even monetized. But this load is impressive. So overall for the unit, it's a pretty typical Arizona unit. There's a lot of roads, a lot of trails. As much as I hate to sound like we might be road hunting a lot, I mean, you almost have to. There's just so many roads, so many trails. They go everywhere. There's just not big, expansive portions of the unit that don't have roads and trails. And I've been down this path before where I get 2 miles off of whatever road I'm on. I've walked across 4 trails, and as I'm back there, 3 dudes come back on their side-by-sides, right? Kind of one of those things. There are some areas where we can hike around, glass really well, but a lot of it is going to be covering ground in timber, particularly more afternoon style. Which brings me to this. My shot distances on this hunt, there's a few areas that we might start seeing over 300-400 yards. The rest of them are very likely to be sub, for sure, 200, maybe even 100 yards, right? Kind of a quick shot. This rifle, 24-inch barrel, pretty light overall, not hard to get in and out of the vehicle, nice and light to pack around. I'm really confident with it. I don't doubt its abilities to kill deer, right? I set this rifle up to be my, not dream deer rifle, but just a really good, solid choice anytime we're going deer hunting. The 300 Win Mag Browning Composite Hunter, 26-inch barrel plus a muzzle brake. It's a lot heavier, it's about 2 pounds heavier, all said and done. What else? Yeah, so those are kind of the dilemmas I'm facing. Now, what is the debate? And this is part of what I want you guys to help settle, okay? Obviously, you don't need a 300 Win Mag to kill a mule deer at 80 yards, right? I know that, you really don't. But this load just really impressed me last year on that elk hunt. If you guys haven't watched that video, like I said, I'll have it linked here somewhere. In short, this load went from just in front of the hind quarter of an elk all the way poking out behind the offside shoulder. I didn't put a tape to it, but it's got to be over 30 inches. I mean, it was impressive, and it put him down right there. Now, mule deer, not elk, right? we know that. That is a very, I guess you'd say, overkill load for deer. But what it also is really fast, really flat. It's coming out of the muzzle at an average of 32.25, a 165, all copper bullet. Any angle, any distance I'm going to shoot, that is nasty, nasty medicine. On the flip side, we have the 6.5. A little bit different philosophy. Doesn't quite have the hot, nasty speed, right? But I have put a lot of rounds through this rifle. All kinds of different ammo. I know what it likes, I know what it doesn't like. We've taken a lot of deer and antelope with it. It works just fine. A little bit easier rifle to pack around. A little bit easier rifle to get in and out of the vehicle. I'm just very confident with it as well, right? So again, why are we comparing the uncomparable? Because that's what we do. We always have this debate. I set this gun up to be my deer and daily driver rifle. Here comes a deer hunt and I'm thinking about packing the smoke, right? It just is what it is. Like I said, let me know down below what you guys think, and we have a couple other things I want to talk about. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be the guy up here telling you how this hangs in with this or whatever as it pertains to big game animals, right? The 300 Win Mag is obviously several notches above the 6.5 when it comes to terminal energy, overall effectiveness, just you name it. 300 Win Mag is just a lean, mean machine, dude. I always call it the Lord's cartridge, right? It is just perfectly catered for big game hunting, particularly bigger animals. But like we talked about, we're chasing mule deer and an okay unit. We're not going to be shooting big, wintered up 200-inch deer or anything like that, most likely. It's going to be fairly warm, you know, kind of that late October, November-like time frame for most of you guys. Where I live in Arizona, that's not snowy time. That is still plenty warm. So it's not going to be maybe what you're thinking. As far as practice with the rifles, like I said, I've put more rounds through this rifle than I have probably any other rifle. Maybe the gun I shot growing up is close, but I don't know. I've shot this thing over and over and over again. I've got to have close to 1,000 rounds, which for me is a lot, right? I'm just a normal guy. I've had this rifle for about 6 years, somewhere in there, 5-6 years roughly. I have put a lot of rounds through it. I'm very confident with it. It has done just fine on any animal I've ever taken with it. I love it. I love this rifle. I've added the Spartan Precision setup. If you guys want a full review on that, let me know down below. But overall, I'm far from afraid of using this rifle. I am just in that mode that we all get to where we're having that debate, right? When it comes to practice, I will practice more with this rifle than I will my 300. 100%. I'm not unconfident with my 300 Win Mag. I'll shoot it plenty leading up to season. I always take 2 rifles with me anyways, just in case I take a spill or whatever might happen, right? So they'll both be on the trip. I might even rotate them day by day. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. What do you do on your hunts? But at the end of the day, guys, that's going to pretty much do it. Just wanted to jump on, have a quick, brief discussion. Let me know what load you'd be interested in seeing some range time with that one, with the 6.5 Creed. This is going to be the load that 300 Win Mag shoots. So if you want to see some other range time, let me know. But that load is mean medicine. I've got a lot of options on this side. I might even run the 120CX out of this rifle for this hunt this year. I think that would be a really interesting combination. If you guys want to see some range, review, any of that stuff on anything you see here, anything you know I have, feel free to drop it down below. Let me know which one you guys would pick, and make sure to subscribe.